What's up, Sao Paulo? Great to be back here. Reed Harris is here with our new Brazilian Octagon girls, Camila and Aline. Our UFC matchmaker is Joe Silva. How about a hand Lorenzo Fertitta's in the building? The inimitable Burt Watson is here. And Minnesota's finest Michael Mersch is here as well. A great night of fights for you here tomorrow. And we begin in the lightweight division. Francisco Masaranduba Ronaldo versus CJ Keith. First fighter to the scale is CJ Keith. Ladies and gentlemen, your first fight of the night, CJ Keith and Francisco Ronaldo. All right, now we get to the UFC prelims on Fuel TV in the light heavyweight division. Vagner Prado versus Ildemar Alcantara. His opponent, Vagner Prado.
Vagner Prado making his third UFC appearance, but what is so fun is how he got to the UFC. He was on a show in Brazil called Pimp My Ride. They asked him on that show, what do you really want to be? What do you dream about? He said, I want to be an MMA fighter. That got heard. It got heard by the Nogueira brothers, who brought him in, threw arms around him, and the rest is history.
206 for Vagner, Prado. Our next bout in the bantamweight division, Iuri Alcantara versus Pedro. First fighter to the scale making his UFC debut, Pedro. $136 for Pedro. And his opponent, Iuri Alcantara. $135 for Iuri Alcantara. Our next bout in the lightweight division, Edson Jr. Barboza versus Lucas Minero Martin. $154 for Lucas Martins. And his opponent, Edson Barboza.
Barboza is one of the best 155-pounders in the division. He needs to use his speed and athleticism in all these fights, especially against a seasoned kickboxer like he's going up against. The right head kick and the right straight are going to be his keys to victory in this fight.
$154 for Edson Barboza. All right, our next bout is in the featherweight division. Thiago the Gun Nunez versus Nick the Carney Lentz. First fighter to the scale is Nick Lentz.
Nick Lentz is a big-time gamer, and in order to supplement his fight career, he had to get rid of his rare video game collection. The one he misses most, stadium events for Nintendo. It's 50 times more expensive now. The box alone, $10,000. The game goes for $40,000.
For Nick Lentz. And his opponent, Thiago Nunez. For Thiago Nunez. Our next bout in the middleweight division, Ronnie Marks versus Andrew Craig. First fighter to the scale, still undefeated, Andrew Craig.
If he wasn't in the UFC, Andrew Craig said he would be a He-Man ninja. Seriously, with his love of ninja movies and his knack for fighting, he's found the career he's destined for. His cousin Travis Tuke, who's a BJJ black belt and trains guys like Eve Edwards, has been his biggest mentor so far.
$185 for Andrew Craig. And his opponent, Ronnie Marks.
Ronnie Marks and I share a common opponent in Paulo Filho, who used to be the #1 middleweight in the world. We were both able to beat him, but Ronnie Marks has been away from the cage a little bit. In his last appearance, he was absolutely devastated. He took out Aaron Simpson in an upset. Can't wait to see Ronnie Marks now.
$186 for Ronnie Marks. Our next bout in the featherweight division got Alfredo Pepe versus Milton Miltinho Vienna. $146 for Milton Vienna. And his opponent got Alfredo Pepe. to the main card for the UFC live on FX. We begin in the lightweight division. Thiago Tavares versus Habib the Eagle Nurmagomedov.
Habib Nurmagomedov comes to us from Russia. He is 18-0. He hasn't lost in the octagon yet. Everybody is putting their stamp of approval on this guy, from our heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez to the Strikeforce champion Daniel Cormier. Those are heavyweights vouching for a lightweight. Keep your eye on this guy. $155 for Habib Nurmagomedov. And his opponent, Thiago Tavares. $155 for Thiago Tavares. All right, our next fight is in the heavyweight division. Gabriel Gonzaga versus Ben Rothwell.
Ben Rothwell said this is the year of reinvention for him. He has hired a nutritionist who does a lot of the grocery shopping. He said he also has to credit his wife, Sharon, who he calls a third coach. She has been researching. They're eating all organic, gluten-free. They even have their own garden. He said the goal for him in 2013, 3 wins.
$258 for Ben Rothwell. And his opponent, the former #1 contender, Gabriel Gonzaga.
Gabriel Gonzaga has a ton of experience in the UFC. He's got to look to use his combinations to set up his power shots and also get to the clinch to dirty box, one of the most vicious head kick finishes in the history of the UFC, and we're looking for him to do it again in this fight.
$255 for Gabriel Gonzaga. And now we get to our co-main event in the middleweight division. Daniel Sarafian versus the Doberman CB Dollaway.
CB Dollaway, Ryan Bader, Aaron Simpson, they are not the only big names associated with Power MMA. Their gym, of course, longtime MMA fan Mike Miller of the Miami Heat is also an owner. They even have a basketball court. CB said that he helped them actualize their dream. Despite the fact the gyms in Arizona, they're all Miami Heat fans.
186 for CB Dollaway. And his opponent, Daniel Sarafian. For Daniel Sarafian. And now time to take a closer look at the two men involved in tomorrow night's middleweight main event.
Since I was 16 years old, I was searching for achieve my dreams, and I win 2 weight divisions in UFC.
Belfort is overwhelming.
And what I did for the sport, not many guys did.
Belfort is the winner! The fastest man in UFC history.
You know, I have everything a man can dream. So I fight not because I need it. I fight because I want to. Life is fighting. Everyone is fighting for something, and so I carry that spirit everywhere I go.
Oh, goodness! Oh, big quick hand! Vitor swinging away! Belfort looking to finish! It is
When I go out to a fight, right before I fight, I think about my first ever fight at some dingy sports hall in the middle of nowhere, sleeping in my car. I could never afford a decent lifestyle. You know, and I think about the journey I've been on and know that this guy, Vitor Belfort, or whoever it is, he's not going to stop me now. I've come this far, and I ain't going to stop until I get to the very top.
unbelievable! Oh, my goodness! Wow!
There's one thing I do. I fight. I was put on this planet to fight, and I'm still to be world champion. As long as there is a beat in my heart, I will not give up. And I don't think you can say the same to Vitor Belfort.
I don't care what he say, what he think. It's my day. That octagon is mine. I win.
If he thinks this fight is already determined, then he's a fool. Nobody wants it as much as me. Nobody trains as hard as me.
Every fight is a title fight. That's my mentality. So I will do whatever I need to do to win.
Bisping, acting or the cage? He said definitely the cage. That's his comfort zone.
Bisping. And his opponent, the former UFC light heavyweight champion, the Phenom, Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort is no stranger to the main event spotlight. Also, to the first round finish. Keep your eyes peeled for this guy to be coming out heavy in that first round. Also looking for the counter. He's got to use his speed and athleticism in this fight in order to land that counter on Bisping's long combinations. Keep an eye out because he's looking for the finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, your main event tomorrow night, Michael Bisping and Vitor Belfort. Obrigado, thank you all for coming out. You can see the fights live on Cambache tomorrow night. And if you're watching the UFC weigh-in on Fuel TV, plenty more coverage to come with Karen Bryant, Chael Sonnen, Dominic Cruz, and Heidi Andro. We now send it back to Los Angeles, California. KB.
Well, thank you very much, John. Welcome back to our Los Angeles studio. Okay, guys, everyone has weighed in from Brazil. You've been on the stage with Bisping, and we know that Vitor always comes ready. Rocking a new look tonight, but what'd you think of the weigh-ins and the stare down between the guys?
I gotta tell you, I thought it was a little bit passive. I thought we were gonna see a fight.